I went shopping for a new adult colouring book and instead stumbled across what turned out to be not just a new favourite, but also one of the most underrated adult colouring book artists in the world. And with very little experience in colouring skin and hair myself, I'm taking on an ambitious double spread today with some of my favourite pencils. These pages are gorgeous, and for the more advanced colourists, there's a lot of potential to colour these any way you want and really make these faces and illustrations come to life. If you've ever come across this artist before, these pictures will be familiar and you'll know I'm talking about the amazing work of Hanna Karlzon. And if you follow Hanna on social media, you'll also know the health challenges that she's facing right now, which I will talk about later in this video. But more than anything, my Hanna fans will understand why I thought it was crazy when I discovered how underrated she was in comparison to some of my other favorite coloring book artists like Johanna Basford and Kirby Rosanes. Hanna's books have a great combination of decorative details and overall great page designs that look good even if you're coloring them as a beginner. But in the hands of a more advanced artist, her pages take on a whole new life. She leaves so much room for interpretation, which can make these a little more intimidating, but also opens up the opportunity to completely transform her pages into works of art. I've seen the same page colored in completely different ways, and I feel like her books allow for more creativity than even some of the best artists out there. I searched the adult coloring book category on Amazon, and while books like this somehow qualify in the top 100, Hanna's books are nowhere to be seen. Even in the many subcategories of coloring books, I was only able to find one of her 9 books lower down the list compared to hundreds of books, many of which weren't even coloring books. I was even more surprised to discover that the number of people searching for Hanna Karlzon on YouTube and Google is significantly less than artists like Kirby Rosanes and Johanna Basford. I've seen Hanna's art around since I first started coloring, and like I'm sure you've probably felt at some point, I was intimidated for quite a while at the idea of coloring some of the beautiful faces in her books. I get asked to do skin tutorials all the time, and you'd think that after all this time, I'd have plenty of experience coloring faces and skin. But honestly, I don't get time to practice coloring or learning new techniques outside of what you see on this channel. Every video on my channel since I started is quite literally my process of learning right in front of you. So how many faces have I colored up to this point? I mean, if we're not counting all the little faces, that's kind of it. So that's my excuse for not doing a proper tutorial yet. So instead, let's talk through my process, because this is how I approach any new challenge and how I tend to hack my way through a lot of these coloring pages that are new topics or a little overwhelming at first. If you've watched my previous videos about coloring skin with markers, drawing advanced shadows, or even my episode about drawing gold, you'll know that I use reference images a lot when I'm coloring something unfamiliar. And for faces, I would definitely recommend using a reference photo every time. First, a reference photo can help you to find the colors you need to create the best skin tone without reverting back to the same skin tone on every single image you color. Learning to identify the light and dark colors in your reference images and match them to your pencils is a great activity that will help you more than anything else when coloring something like a face, no matter what the skin tone is. Then you can use the same photo or a different photo to help with your shading. The goal here is to choose a photo where your subject is facing a similar direction to your coloring page, with the lighting that you want to recreate in your final piece. Then you can look at where the darkest areas are and use this as your guide to color with your darkest skin tones. The same goes for the lighter areas. From there, it's a combination of light pressure, keeping your pencil sharp, and doing multiple layers, and you might surprise yourself with what you can create. The eyes are a wonderful opportunity to really bring a picture like this to life. So I found a different reference picture with some really colorful eyes and some clear highlights. Although as soon as I've started putting down the yellow and orange, I'm not so sure about this. This is definitely one of those trust the process moments. I know the eye in my reference image has yellow and orange, even though this looks really weird right now, so I'll just keep going. Adding my dark colors will help, but the final touch is what really makes this eye come to life, and that's the highlights. A white paint pen or white gel pen is essential here, and look at the difference it makes. As we move on to our hair, I'm trying to think of the perfect color for an underwater princess here. Oh, hair like this with its artistic style makes it hard to find a suitable reference photo. So when I come to something like this, I just start in the areas that feel the easiest and most obvious to me. Any hair that is hidden or covered by something is probably going to create a shadow, so that's always a great place to start. In fact, I have a whole video about the basics of shadows that can help you to get started on learning what to look for if you're feeling stuck with your shading. So you're probably wondering, with 9 books to choose from, why did I choose this book? I wanted my first Hanna coloring experience to be with her first book, which was released back in 2015. But Hanna now has at least 9 books available in a bunch of languages on Amazon and Book Depository. Plus, she sells extra printable colouring pages directly from her Etsy store that I'll link to in the comments below. I've been thinking about buying one of Hanna's books for a while, but it was her recent health news that prompted me to stop putting it off and to show my support to this amazing artist who has a very difficult journey ahead. On the 22nd of January 2022, Hanna posted on her Instagram that she'd had an epileptic seizure and that the doctors had found a brain tumour. Since then, she's been flooded with support from her fans and has scans and surgery coming up soon. A hashtag has been started, Support Hanna Karlzon, where fans are sharing their colouring pages and thoughts for Hanna. If you're wanting to show your support for Hanna, check out her books, visit her Etsy store, or just leave a comment of support on her social pages. I'll leave all of her links in the description below. And because I know someone will ask, Hanna doesn't know that I'm making this video and I wasn't asked to. So I will be the first to practice what I preach, and I've gone ahead and bought a few more of her books on Amazon right now. Let me know in the comments if you have any of her books already and what page or book you think I should colour next. As I continue working on the hair, I feel like my confidence is improving and my technique is getting a little better the more I colour. And this is why I don't agree with the idea of waiting until you're a professional until you colour your favourite books. You won't improve if you don't pull out your supplies and have a go. It's never going to be perfect the first time you colour something, but colouring regularly and trying new things is the fastest way to learn and to grow your skills. So I challenge you, if there's a book on your shelf that you've been saving for when your skills get better, get it out today and choose a page to just have a go. It doesn't have to be your favourite page. Maybe start with another page that you don't mind messing up to take the pressure off. But don't let your best colouring books or your best supplies go to waste because you're too afraid to use them. The goal should always be to just have fun and be creative, not to be perfect. I'm finding that the Polychromos pencils are great for this hair, and keeping them sharp produces the best results. I found a good flow going back from the light to dark colours using thin strokes in the direction of the hair, focusing on keeping some areas lighter and the shadows darker. As I move to the ribbons in her hair, my original plan was to use a red as well, but I'm actually thinking of something completely different, like a green or a blue, basically a teal. At first, I didn't know what attracted me to the idea of teal, other than it being my
favorite color of all time.
But with red? Why did I think it would work with red? I like how this colour combination is working, and layering the Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils on top of the Faber-Castell Polychromos is allowing me to change the colour more easily and create a really nice blend between the warmer greens and the cooler blues. And I'm finishing off each area with some white highlights, just because I like any excuse to add white highlights. Speaking of excuses, if your subscribe button is still red and you're not subscribed right now, do we need to have this chat? Do I need to give you a spiel about why you should subscribe? Or can we just keep coloring and you'll just do your thing? Your thing is subscribing, pushing the subscribe button. Okay? This is weird now, right? This page is taking longer than I expected, and you know, it only just occurred to me why. I'm coloring 2 pages here. Okay, yes, this is a really silly thing to not have noticed until this point, okay? I know. And this is a really bad week to be doubling my workload because I'm supposed to be halfway into my unique 100,000 subscriber artwork by now so that I can show you next week. Do you want to see how much I've done? There is actually something there. But I need to start over anyway because I decided that I wanted to do it this way instead of this way. So it's... Meanwhile, Shane's replacing the floor in our entire house right now. Yay for deadlines and pressure! When people suggest that we should do more than 1 video per week, I just know. Okay, the hardest part is done and the rest of this page should be easy from here. But I want to make sure my colors work well with what I've already started, so I found this color palette from the color catalog that already has a red, greens and blues and is an underwater theme. From here, I've just chosen a few objects at a time and I'm keeping my coloring simple. Well, mostly simple. I'm still blending a few colors together by layering a dark and light version of each color, mostly keeping the darkest colors in any areas that might be shaded, and I'm using my wax-based luminance pencils to add some variations to the colors on top. I really like the effect of the green luminance on top of the teal Polychromos. It feels like there are a lot more colors mixed underneath and it's a really simple effect to pull off. It's also given me a chance to really feel the difference between these 2 brands of pencils. The Faber-Castell Polychromos are an oil-based pencil. They work best with layers, but you can press really hard straight away if you're not planning to blend the colors, and they do keep a really sharp point really well. They also don't cover up the black lines, so you can color over lines on an object without fading the lines as much as the wax pencils do. The Caran d'Ache Luminance are less forgiving on the lines and will leave a waxy coat with too much pressure, but they are much easier to blend. They are wax-based, so blending is their specialty. They work best sharp as well, but can handle a dull point more than the Polychromos. I really love the combination of these 2 brands together. These are definitely 2 of my favorite pencil brands of all time, but the price definitely matches the high quality. So at this point, I've been coloring 7 hours, and so I decided to call it a day. But I had insomnia. So what did I do? I came back to colour more at 1 AM. My own mum used to have insomnia regularly during her own cancer treatment. She was a lot of the inspiration for me to create colouring books when I first started. She used to take them into the cancer ward to colour during her chemotherapy sessions, and it was many of her own sayings that ended up in my Colouring Through Cancer colouring book that I created back in 2016. Unfortunately, we said goodbye to her while I was pregnant with our youngest son, but her joy and survivor spirit will always be an inspiration. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to make this video for Hannah today. Cancer is a hard journey, and I know so many people use colouring as a form of therapy to get through hard times like this. So this is my small way of supporting one of our amazing and underrated artists, who already deserves far more recognition for her art and whose books I wish I had bought sooner. And this, I might be saying this for every page lately, but this is probably my new favorite thing that I've colored. It really pushed me to try new things, and I feel more confident now to take on another face and hair instead of avoiding those pages in my coloring books. If this feels like 10 steps ahead of your skill level, then here is a video to give you step 1. In this guide to shading, I show you exactly how to know where to put your shadows and explain the different kinds of shadows in a way that you can apply to any coloring page. Click here to watch it now.